Well, it's that time of the year again, another October, and another awesome Play Expo in Blackpool at the, well, not so awesome Norbreck Castle. Lots of fun again was had this year, and there was lots of cool chances to meet up with people once more, and there were, well, just lots of cool people there in general, so thank you very much to everyone who did meet me. Naturally, I think it's been a little while since I've actually done a recap of an expo, so I think it's time to do one. And also, I think it'd be cool to show you some of the various places that I went to in Manchester for my usual annual detour over there. So, without any further ado-de-do-do-de-do, let's go. Let's have a look at Play Expo Blackpool and the awesome sights in Manchester. Well, as long as you like pubs and food. So you've just spent 4 hours or so travelling down to Manchester. What do you want after you come in? Well, you want a nice crap load of carbs. And Moose Coffee, right near Piccadilly train station, certainly is a place that will provide. Lovely corned beef hash. And hey, look, broken egg yolk shots. They always have those in the professional food vlog videos, don't they? Yummy! Still needed some time before my room opened, so here's a little pit stop at Ducey Street Warehouse. Very nice place. Look at all the exposed stuff going on. It's got coffee, it's got a bar, it's got a hotel, but that's not the hotel that I'm staying in. I'm staying here, in a Travelodge. Perfectly acceptable Travelodge room, really. Can't complain. And as far as the view goes, well, look at this! Oh, my word. The features that are on display, I mean, wow. Absolutely. As you can see, I've got a room right in the middle of the hotel and face in the middle. So this is, you know, the core of the place. Yeah, pretty barren. Anyway, we're out for the night. Castle Hotel, classic institution of the Northern Quarter. Gulliver's, nice little place. I tend to go when I go out to all these spots to various refins of, you know, wide variety of quality. So always a good start to have a few nice pints in there in the sort of J.W. Lee's, Joseph Holt type places. Nice look around Oldham Street. Now this is a lovely place, the Crown and Kettle. Moved into Ancoats for this Wednesday night, and this big old building I believe used to be a church of some description, and this is where I had one of my best pints of the whole trip. A pint called a Cold Stoned Cream Austin. Yummy. Mike Tyson's spelling of Stone Cold's name aside, this was like a milkshake type IPA. It's kind of like a cream soda. Lovely. I love a good old pub that's got a nice proper snug. And it's got nicely nice pictures and light fittings all that to look at. And here we are in the Edinburgh Castle, which, again, certainly provides. I mean, look at that one there for a starter. And again, nice beer in pretty much all these places. As usual though, it is Manchester, so the weather is pretty grim. This is super duper hip Cutting Room Square. Can it do it on a wet Wednesday night? That's debatable. But it does have some nice places, including another exceptional pub here called the Seven Brothers. Tons of various guest ales here, I think a lot of which they brew themselves. I seem to remember having a very nice pint here. I can't exactly remember just what it was. As you can see, it's a very hip sort of place, as you might expect from somewhere that's on a street that's been apparently listed one of the 50 hippest in the world. But it's also got some board games as well. Slightly less hip, but not too bad, is the Fremount. Got some music playing. I think this fella was playing some acoustic version of Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. Not too bad, all told. Could be a lot worse. Then we go to the Corner Boy, which is, you know, every city needs an Irish pub, and here's one near Stevenson Square. You can get your Guinness, I suppose, if you like Guinness. I personally don't. But, yes, very good. And, of course, where do we always tend to finish a night? We tend to finish it here in a Wetherspoons. And this is actually a Wetherspoons that doesn't have a stupid name. It's the one on Piccadilly that's just called Wetherspoons. Doesn't stop it from having a terrible carpet, though. But hey, it's got Punk IPA on tap. Then, well, it's getting late at night, so it's off to Archie's for a burger. Archie's, which are everywhere in Manchester and do absolutely smashing burgers, far better than going to McDonald's at any rate. Ugh, they're so freaking good. Anyway, it's Thursday, and don't worry, I didn't wake up in this alleyway. Instead, I'm here for one of the best things you can get in Manchester. A rice and free from Listened Lat, one of Manchester's great institutions. You have to get one of these if you come here. Nice lamb, nice chicken, nice vegetable. The vegetable curry is the best one. Only £8. if you don't go to Manchester and get one of those, then, well, I don't know what to say. I just thought I'd tell you that as we have a little look at some of the construction that's going on around here. Here's Mackie Mayor, which I've still never properly got into yet, and here's the Millstone. It's time for another night. Oh, this was a great pub. I didn't film nearly enough in here. You got this man in his absolute best, banning out Get It On. This was a great pub. I ended up having 2 drinks in here, and this was just the start of the night. Much more sedate here in the Smithfield Social on Thomas Street. I actually had a cocktail in here, a nice pink lady. And then right next door to that was another magnificent place. A place called Fierce Beer. End up kind of listening to the conversation about cards in here and fake real ones, Pokemon cards. They had some superb beer, including a 11% Ghoster that was blow your socks off good. And the cool thing about Manchester is that because it's quite small, these places like that are just right next to each other. Cane and Grain here, which is a lovely place. I didn't really go too much into it this time, but it's also got a tiki bar and Science and Industry, which is the most interesting cocktail bar in Manchester. Shout out to when I was last here and had their mushroom-infused sake, which was really nice. No, honestly, I'm not joking. Off to somewhere again, a bit more sedate, Bay Horse Tavern. I think I ended up having some calamansi type can of booze here, which was, again, a winner, as my phone won't shut up anyway. And perhaps someone will tell me about it. Now, Wolf at the Door. One of the hippest places, I think, in this whole northern quarter. This is where I probably had my best drink of the whole time here. This cocktail thingamajig here, it was peaty whiskey. It was like Laphroaig and ginger. It was wonderful. I mean, I can't stop rhapsodising enough about it to mention the Foundry Project, where I needed an espresso martini pick-me-up. Perfectly nice place. Again, they had an open mic here. Someone doing acoustic songs, not too bad. And a nice little bar, all looks very plush and cool. Terrace NQ, big place, lots of terraces, as you might expect. Lots of outside bits, lots of nooks and crannies. And pretty welcoming too. Now this place is one of my favourite things that's kind of come up very recently on Oldham Street. Blockbusters NQ. It's, as you might see here, it's like a Blockbusters. They sell nice drinks and they have videos all over the shop. I mean, they've got so many classics, so many ones of my youth. I mean, there's Batman Forever, which Jonathan Ross called one of the greatest films ever made. As a joke, apparently. There's True Lies, which I watched about 2,000 times. They've even got copies of things like Live by the Sea here by Oasis. Look, it's Oasis back in their Definitely Maybe days when they played in my hometown. They've got my favourite live bottom, the big number 2 tour. And they've also got a big bit at the back near the toilets where they've got some old vintage scud. This is a great place. I think it's only been open like a couple of months, and I definitely recommend getting your ass down here. Anyway, that's about it for this Manchester detour after we take a quick stop in Delhi to go, which, as far as Bossman takeaways go, actually does nice fresh food and is highly recommended again. Very good place to go if it's 1 in the morning and you've had a few and you're hungry. They won't serve you shit in a tray. Anyway, we're off to Blackpool. So made it to Blackpool on Friday and the weather was absolutely terrible. So what do we need for a pick-me-up? We need a purple potato based pizza from Stefani's, one of the best pizzas in the country. Now this got a lot of comments on social media, I have to say. I loved this pizza personally. It certainly looks weird, but I can assure you it tasted nice. Almost as nice as that mushroom teeny. Weather's cleared up a bit and well, the flag should tell you where we are already. Ladies and gentlemen, the Norbreck. Yep, the old place still kind of looks the same, still looks as dreadful as ever, as intimidating as ever, absolutely huge. Bit of construction going on apparently, but no one wants to stay here, not even this bird, just desolately walking away from it. So yes, not a whole lot has changed in Norbreck, but it is the place where I am staying this weekend. The tide's looking pretty imposing. The weather was actually nice most of the weekend, at least aside from the time when I got in. And yes, the pond is still looking as green as ever. Certainly not something you'd want your kids or indeed anyone to go into. Oh yes, and how about this here? This is in the place where people are queuing in to get to the Play Expo. A leaking chandelier right in the middle and a bin there to pick up all the droplets. How lovely, Jesus. Sometimes I swear this place really just needs to be knocked down. Here's my room. Actually, as far as Norbreck rooms go, for the most part, not terrible. Not sure about this though. This light fitting looks a slightly skew with, I think it has to be said. And yet, of course, there's a phone in the room, even though the phone probably hasn't worked in about 20 odd years. There's no dial tone coming from that. Yeah, there's a few nicotine stained bits here and there. The bathroom, again, it could be worse. Nice and steamed up, so you can see the paint on the walls. That's from the new paint job that they gave parts of it. And here's my view at the Norbreck. Actually, a bit more exciting than the one at the Travelodge. I mean, I can't actually see much, but hey, at least there's some pipes. So there's that, I guess. It was cheap, and there is an advantage to being at the hotel. Life-saving things out the back, as we said, munchie box where you can get a nice balm to start your day off, a cash point that actually works, and one of the best fish and chippies in the area, which I actually didn't get a chance to go to this time, annoyingly. And yet the hotel looks as bad from the back as it does at the front. Anyway, it's Saturday now, and it's time to get into the action. Lots of cool stuff at the Expo as usual, lots of talks happening, lots of games to play, arcades, old consoles, trading, and so forth. Lots of rare stuff as well kicking around. No Amigas on the floor this time, which I found slightly a shame, but hey-ho, you can't have everything. The main stage was certainly looking pristine this year. It was absolutely wonderfully laid out, and Bex was doing the majority of the hosting, old Trista Bites. An absolute machine for the whole of the 2 days. Oh, just caught a bit of a whiff of Baggers there. We'll be seeing him a bit more later as we go around some of the arcades. But yeah, no, the layout of this show was wonderful this time out, really was. And it did feel like, I mean, the show last year was very good, of course, as it always is, but it still felt like there was a bit of recovery going on last year as, you know, things get back to normal. This year did feel like things were getting back to normal, although, as I will say in a bit, didn't exactly get out of this weekend unscathed, unfortunately. But yes, as you can see, we've got the nice out one, the nice Hanon, although that was taking a bit of a rest from them, but nice to see an original Hanon cabinet. Had plenty of talks at the weekend as well on the Saturday. Big shout out to Mainmeister for hosting them. Apparently John Romero was literally standing room only, and in the third talk, everyone got rained on because the skylight was open and it started pissing down again. But well, that's just the joys of the Norbreck. And speaking of Bex, yep, here she is, guiding a group through a game of Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Always a very interesting game, that one. I perhaps should try and play it on stream one of these days. As I said, she did just an amazing job all weekend. Shout out to the old Antstream folk who had a presence at the Expo this weekend. Used to work with them. They seem to be doing okay still. There seem to be lots of people enjoying their stuff. And again, plenty of other little features here. If you wanted to get your Halo on, they had a whole round of things where you could do some Halo death matching. Lots of people seem to enjoy it. Jason Bradbury over there, he seems to be enjoying it. So yeah, lots of stuff to do. It's not just about the old arcades and the old consoles. And it's also about buying stuff as well. Yes, plenty of stuff to buy. Big shout out to the import sellers there. Some of my favourites. Big shout out to these guys, the Sega Mania folk, propping up their magazine for people. And big shout out to Jess as well, who's got a whole crowd of people to see her. And hey, at least you can see Mr. Wimpy. There is a Wimpy in Blackpool for this weekend. Not sure what's happened to Slapfight here. It seems to have gone a little bit weird, a little bit funky, but oh well, I'm sure that a little reset will do that no harm at all. Oh yes, and you can play that Steel Battalion game. Here's a big load of WWF figures back in the trading hall. Some of these, I mean, some of the ones they had here, the ones in the box, I didn't realise how expensive these things have gotten. Those ones that are still in their box, still like mint conditions, hundreds of pounds, including the one of 123 Kid where he had his eyebrows shaved off as a prank. Even that Hacksaw Jim Duggan there, that loose one, was apparently 90 quid. These things have got very expensive, it seems. So, yeah, I did not realise. I kind of wish I'd kept the ones that I had when I was a youngster. Some nice posters here. See these folks a lot. Numskull Quarter Arcades kicking around. Numskull had a good presence. Plenty of their rares. And of course, lots of old consoles to buy. And this time, also, lots of old cassettes. I bought a couple of these as well. They don't usually have old micro games out for sale, but they did this time. And, well, I was quite pleased about that. Oh, and no, they weren't actually there in the corner to see Jess. They were there to see John and Brenda Romero, two absolutely lovely people, two absolute legends. I had a chat with them myself. We ended up talking about the intricacies of getting a fridge over the Irish Sea. What else would you talk to gaming legends about? Anyway, here's the stuff that I picked up. I did pick up a couple of the Sega Mania magazines to have a look at. They've got wonderful artwork on them. This is all from my stream, by the way, which you can catch at twitch.tv/Kim_Justice. Get that quick pud down there as we look at Pud and Cosmic Wartoad, two of the Specky games I bought. Pud, Joffa Classic, Cosmic Wartoad, look at that awesome cover, and Trashman, which needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. One of the best Spectrum games of all time. Good to have it in my lot. And finally, I also got two of the Hasbro figures. I got a loose Papa Shango, because, well, why wouldn't you have Papa Shango? And one of the ones that was my favourites when I was growing up, the Dragon, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. One of the ones that, is supposed to jump when you adjust its neck violently in that way. So yeah, a few things picked up. Very nice indeed. Certainly the angry Ryu there, he seems to approve. Now this thing that's a bit out of focus here is Zypho's Nightmare, the latest game from the almighty Yellow Belly for your Amstrad. I will be playing that on stream at some point. It's a very hard, classic micro style platformer, and you know that you can trust Yellow Belly to make good games, because why wouldn't you trust someone to make good games when they do something like this on a Novabug stream? Now that's someone who makes good games, I can assure you of that. Oh yes, and here's something else I did at the weekend. I went into Jason Bradbury's Electro Breakdance Party. I was teamed up with Jim Bagley against Quan and Badger, and we did some cool things. It was a close quiz. Unfortunately, Team Quan won in the end, but I did get to grab Jim Bagley by his legs and spin him around on stage. So that's one thing I can tick off my bucket list, There he is telling me what, informing me of the master plan. So yeah, this is one thing I can cross off my bucket list. I got to spin a ZX Spectrum legend like Jim Bagley around on the stage in front of many people. So yeah, that's certainly something I did. So what a gloriously fun 2 days at the Expo it was. Absolute laugh. So after doing something like that, after accosting a legend of the game, accosting the man who made ports like Cabal and Midnight Resistance, what else is there left but to kick back, relax, enjoy all your friends and have a nice curry. Lots of people enjoying a curry here. Someone struggling a bit more with it than others is Pete Walker, who had an incredibly hot chili masala type thing, I think. Slightly a bit too hot for him, but a very nice curry there. Oh, and there's Man Shovel as well, who we just saw a glimpse of, who came all the way from America for this show. Oh, a shout to Simon as well, Major Green. Lovely stuff. Anyway, we're going back to Manchester, because I've still got one more day there. It's Monday. And here's Bundobust, a lovely Indian street food place. You've got to come to one of these if you're in Manchester. It's like Dishoom, but less Iranian cafe and more exposed piping. But their samosa chat, their bel puri, to die for, and also those sauerkraut koftas that they had as a Oktoberfest special. Absolutely delicious, all this stuff. You got to go to this place. Always good to go into a Joseph Holt pub like the Ape and Apple, where the surroundings are nice and the beer's good and cheap. Under £4 for a pint. Don't get that where I live. I wanted to go to a few of the old pubs, places that have been around since like the 19th century or so. Places like the Sir Ralph Abercrombie, a very storied place, one of Manchester's oldest pubs, certainly in the centre. Don't think they've always shown Sky Sports though. Nice and quiet here on a Monday night, as you might expect, but it certainly has had some famous patrons in the past. Ed Sheeran seems like he was a fan of it. So yes, a very nice place. Nice place to chill out in. Didn't go to Albert's Schloss this time, but it's a great place if you want to see live music and have a massive pork knuckle. You can see an NQ64 there as well next to it. Lovely spot. The Britain's Protection, a seriously storied place this. I mean, just look at that ceiling. This is one of the oldest. A place that's been around since the days of the Peterloo Massacre, as it goes. A place that you can get lost in. A place where a snug actually means an entirely separate room and not just some enchanted grotto near the bogs. There's so much here and so much stuff to look at. It's like you're in a piece of living history. I absolutely adore this place. It's also got a huge collection of Jack Daniels as well, if you're into that sort of thing. So many bottles of the stuff. I mean, I like JD myself, but these guys, well, they love it. Now, our next place, the outside of it might be a little dark here, but I can tell you that it is the Peveril of the Peak. Again, another great pub. This is one of those places that you go into, and it's kind of particularly famous, I think, for its stained glass windows. I mean, seriously, just look at them. Oh, just look at it. Just again, beautiful place. And again, it's got snugs, it's got nooks and crannies all over the shop. It's the sort of place that you could happily spend a good couple of hours in. Such a nice vibe at any time of the week. This perhaps doesn't quite have the old school collection that the other pubs have that I've just seen, but the Temple of Convenience here was previously an underground loo from Victorian times, so hey, I guess it kind of counts, and it's now been converted into a nice little drinking hole, and it does still have a toilet as well for those purists who wouldn't want to see an underground toilet being converted into a pub. Quick little pit stop at Archie's. Those places shall be over the UK soon. And one of my favourite places in Manchester, Grand Central. I absolutely love this place. Last time I was in Manchester, I was in here basically every night. Brilliant alternative music, rock, metal pub. Good beer, good times, good tunes. Great people. Absolutely love this spot. One of my favourites. I can especially recommend Matt Jones's Jukebox as well, every Thursday. Those guys kick ass. Refuge Assurance Building, huge place, one of my favourite looking buildings in Manchester. Manchester's got so many nice buildings to look at. Also the home of Volta, good place for a coffee during the day. Never actually been in the Volta bit at night. And if you head down those rather dangerous cobbles into what used to be called Little Island, you can get some nice cool pubs here by Oxford Road Station. We've got the Salisbury, for example, which is another fantastic rock pub. Kind of a nice vibe, a nice more spit and sawdusty vibe perhaps than Grand Central, but again it looks like a place that's got a lot of history to it, and again it's a place where you can really guarantee to get a nice jukebox. And it's even got Watney's Red Barrel, which for fans of Monty Python is always a plus point. The Thirsty Scholar's another one that's right there, right under the train tracks, so to speak. Again, a bit quiet on a Monday night, but what do you expect? Well, a place that is never quiet, no matter what night of the week is Bunny Jackson's. I absolutely love this place. Again, this is like one of my favourite places. The decorations are wonderful, the drinks are great, the people lovely, open till 3 AM every night. It's the perfect place to end any night, but it's not usually the sort of place where I end my night. As you might tell as this fades through to a rather disgusting looking floor, I ended Monday night in the Paramount. One final drink and well, you always got to check out the local Weatherspoons, and this isn't a bad one. It's quite a big one, and the floor is, well, the floor in this one is particularly quite ridiculous. And well, that just about wraps it up. All that was left to do was go home. So yeah, Play Expo was awesome as ever. Absolutely wonderful show. So many great people. I'd like to thank all the Replay event staff, as ever, for putting on a great event. Big shout out to all the wonderful people who I get the chance to meet at this event. And yeah, had an absolutely great time. And I cannot wait for the events next year. Hopefully there'll be another Blackpool as well, and perhaps there'll be other Play Expo events as well this time as we kind of get closer to back to normal. Didn't entirely escape the event unscathed. I do have a little bit of the Rona, unfortunately. I do have a bit of the Omicron, but hey, made it through. So thank you all for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my travels, and all that's left to do is say, as ever, bye for now.